Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There was a time when you didn't know that the earth was flat. As you can see, it is, but you couldn't see that. You didn't know that. Or maybe there was a time when there was something else that you didn't believe was possible, and now you do. And so this video is about asking why you don't meditate on the holy names of the Lord. People meditate on a lot of other things. They even pay a lot of money to do so sometimes. The holy names are free, and anybody can meditate on the holy names, and they are very beneficial in so many ways. And who in this world would not want those benefits from the Creator? So this is what this video is about. I'm asking you why you don't chant Hare Krishna or the holy names that you prefer, rather than telling you about chanting Hare Krishna. Because you need the experience of chanting the holy names before you will know for yourself that it works. So hopefully there are some people watching this that know the earth is flat, and so now they're not looking at a scientific explanation of what's in front of them. It all came from this Big Bang theory. So now what are they looking at? Now they're looking at the creation made by the Creator. So to progress from flat earth, or whatever it was that you didn't believe in at one time and now you do, to progress from that, there's only one way really. Everything else, all the other material directions, however many there are, they don't lead back to the spiritual worlds. They just keep you going around here all the time, life after life after life. But hey, you might not believe that, so I'm try to keep things that you can't understand out of it, and rather ask, why don't you chant Hare Krishna? I don't want to just hear like, well, I don't believe in God or anything like that. I want to know, well, why don't you believe in God? Because here's a method for knowing God and for knowing God is the absolute truth. A method to develop your consciousness so as your intelligence will be able to understand the vast source of knowledge that we have in the Vedas. Not that you have to read it all, but there is perfect science that has never been defeated by all the greatest philosophers throughout history. There's the science of God. There's so much information about you and God. The Veda is like a vast source of information, the size of a small library, let's say. So, without that, you're living your life with a poor fund of knowledge. As we can see, through looking at the past, people trying to do things on a material level to improve to change the world for the better, to improve their life in some way or another, but mostly to try and change the world for the better. It just hasn't worked, and it can't work on that level. Well, you can see for yourself it hasn't worked. What has ever been improved? Yes, some things, but then there'll be a lot of other things that will take their place of that improvement, and it's much the same again. You vote for a new politician, a prime minister or a president, and well, what was the difference? Some small things, yes, but on the whole, much the same. So you must be able to see that all this, whatever you're doing to try and change the world for the better, demonstrate, make videos, write into your MPs, whatever it is, you only have a limited ability, and it hasn't worked in the past. Surely I don't have to explain that. Let's say, so many things. I don't really want to go into them all. There's so many of them, and all they've ever done is talk about it. Oh, look at this happening, look at this happening, look at this bad weather, look at this weather control, look at this, so many things. Srila Prabhupada called it endless media chatter. And that's what it is. Hours and hours of videos and books and radio shows and endless media chatter. If only they spent some of that time that they used for that to chant the holy names. Because Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has got unlimited capabilities, and he's just waiting for you to offer your voluntary love. And in any relationship, there's service for one another. And so he's waiting for your voluntary service. Then when you're willing to serve him, he'll reciprocate in your life. And you'll be able to see that for yourself. You'll be able to see God on many different levels as you progress. It's a gradual progress. It won't be an overnight thing. Like a lot of people, they just meditate one day and then that's it. They never do it again. It's a daily practice. You need to nominate how many rounds you're going to chant and work up to the minimum of 16 rounds per day. Slowly you'll get a taste for it and you'll enjoy the meditation and you'll nominate more and more rounds because you'll want to. And personally myself, I've nominated 20 rounds, because it's a minimum of 16. Then of course you can enhance that meditation, and one of the most, well, the best way to do that, one of the best ways, anyway, is to stop eating meat, because otherwise that makes you animalistic to some degree or another. Everybody's different, so everybody will be affected differently. So you can see these people acting animalistically to one degree or another. So you can see God in many different... Let's what are you looking at now? As I've explained, this is not a scientific explanation anymore. This is God's inferior material energy you're looking at. And He's within and without every atom. He's everywhere. Because He's not just in the Supreme Personality of Godhead form. He's in other different forms. But that's a whole science of God behind that, and a much longer video if I went into that. So we chant Hare Krishna, develop our consciousness and intelligence, but we can also read as well about God and ourselves, where we are, the flat earth, the purpose of life, the goal of life, the ultimate goal of life, the ultimate destination after death. That's a very important question you should be asking yourselves, is what happens after death? And don't think that nobody knows, because this is the process for knowing. Chanting the holy names that you prefer. So, okay, you've got another religion. So that might be one reason. Well, that's not my religion. Doesn't matter. In your scriptures it will say somewhere or another to chant the holy names. All the religions are telling you as well not to eat meat and to chant the holy names. And because when Krishna comes to the earth in person as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as an incarnation of Himself, or He sends His true representative, He doesn't leave behind any scriptures. What happens is He has different names for those incarnations, and man writes the scriptures, and man has 4 main faults. So you can imagine when they're writing all these scriptures down, how many mistakes they're going to make. And over the years it'll get changed, because it's not protected like the Veda is by Krishna, because Krishna doesn't give these another religion out every time He incarnates, because there's already all the scriptures. There's already one God, and in a way, one religion. In a way. So, you needn't change your religion. Just understand it better by chanting the holy names. Then we can change the world, because we are then servants of God, obeying what He's instructed us to do, instead of reading it with the 4 main faults incorrectly, or just not even realizing what it says. Then it's His world. He's the only one who's going to change it. Mostly because of the laws of karma that He's built into this world. which is a justice system. So materialistically, you'll keep breaking those laws, and so more suffering will come no matter what you do politically or what opinions you manage to put across to people. Those laws of karma will still be in place, and so as long as you keep breaking them and disobeying, then those laws, the laws of karma, keep on renewing the suffering. So even if you change something for the better, there'd be a whole load, by the time you did that, there'd be a whole load more problems to keep you suffering, because you can't escape those laws of karma. You can very much reduce them by chanting the holy names, because then you're willing to serve Krishna, or the name of God you prefer. Because all these names are transcendental sound vibrations, and they're purifying when you chant them, when you say them, when you think them. You can sing them to music. You can every day you can think of Krishna 24 hours every day. So there's so many reasons for chanting. I would like to know why you don't. Why don't you chant Hare Krishna? I think that's a better way, because then we can work on what getting you started on spiritual life, the real deal, true spiritual path. As I've said, there's so many different directions you can go in, and none of them will lead you back to the spiritual worlds. Only one way back to the spiritual worlds, and that's the chanting the holy names. Krishna has made it so as it couldn't be easier. You only have to meditate every day, do something that you enjoy doing, escaping from the material world and being with Krishna, linking with God through this transcendental sound vibration. Of course it might sound, oh, well, I don't believe it, it's too much, I can't believe in all this. Once you believed in Santa Claus, once you didn't know that the earth was flat, once you didn't know that something was harmful for you, and now you do. Now, so there's a materialistic progression going on in your life. You're learning about materialistic things more and more and more. That's not the sort of consciousness we're talking about. That's materialistic consciousness, or illusionary consciousness, where you think God is nowhere to be seen, where He's everywhere to be seen. Or even animalistic consciousness, where you've got, the same main interests as animals have, because they don't have an interest in God. They're just paying off their karma, being reincarnated, and after death, you might not be a human again. So this is a golden opportunity, now that you are a human, to go back to the spiritual worlds where your spiritual soul belongs. It's obvious. If you believe in the soul, or you know that there is a soul there keeping you alive, otherwise you'd just be a dead body, wouldn't you? You've seen, we know what happens when people die. There's a dead body there. And so this soul belongs is a spiritual thing. So it belongs in the spiritual worlds, not the material worlds. We came here, or transmigrated here from the spiritual worlds, because we no longer want a relationship with Krishna. So you've already seen him once, many, many millions and millions of years ago. As well as what I've just mentioned. There's a crow. Hello, crow. Do you know, Krishna, he has so many incarnations. They're numerous. I mean, how do you know? I don't know where that crow came from. How do you know that that crow isn't an incarnation of Krishna? Because he's got unlimited capabilities. He can do that sort of thing if he wanted to. I can't follow that crow home and see where he lives. Oh, he's got a nest here. He's not from the spiritual world. He's come from this nest. For all I know, when you talk about Krishna, amazing things happen. We can live our lives to our full potential. We've got the perfect philosophy that has never been defeated. We've got the science of God. It's not just one book. It's a vast source of information. And with it, we can change the world. Everyone will be happy. Except for those who, their reasons for not chanting will be because I've got all this material wealth and land and power and influence over people and control, and I don't want to let go of it. And they'll be envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because that's one of the main reasons we came here. You said, well, why you got all your attention? Why, if I went to the material worlds, I could have some land, I could be in control, I would have all your attention. And so, for many reasons that there are for a relationship breaking up, that's just one of them, envy. So as we can see, everybody has envy to a one degree or another. Everybody. But that's one of the benefits as well. That envy level will come down. Envious people, they put other people down. Oh, as we've seen in the flat earth community, they haven't got any proof for the globe, so all they do is attack you with an ad hominem attack, call you names and one thing and another. But we've all got it to some degree. So there are many benefits. You could go on making videos, you could go on producing a lot of chatter, endless chatter about Krishna, but at least it would be worthwhile, chatter. That is, that can actually do something about it. And the devotees of Krishna have already made a big difference in this world, already for themselves and other people. And even for the animals, they're influencing people for 50 years now in the Western world. It took this long for the message to get here. Because the last recorded incarnation of Krishna was in 1486. They didn't have they're very poor in India, and they didn't have aeroplanes where they could just hop on and bring the message over to the Western world. So they tried, and some failed, and some just managed to spread it more around India. But eventually Srila Prabhupada got to America and spread it all over the world for the last 50 years. Now, compare that with people talking about the JFK assassination. They've been talking about that for 50 years, but it's endless media chatter, and it hasn't come to anything. Has anyone been arrested? It is obvious that there's something going on fishy going on there. The way the Lee Harvey Oswald was assassinated as well, you know, the main witness, you know, we've seen that dozens and dozens of times since as well. But nothing ever will get done like that. Because if you want material life, Krishna is obliged to give you material life. And if you want material life, you have to accept all the miseries and suffering that come with material life. And all the bad karma, and so on. So you just can't change it like that. So anyway, I want to know, please tell me in the comments why you don't chant Hare Krishna, and we can work on it together if that's what you want. I can put things in the comments, I can give you my email address and telephone number. I prefer the telephone, to be honest, than writing all this out to people. It's much easier to talk to somebody over the telephone. But there's plenty of other people who chant Hare Krishna you can ask. There's many temples all around the world. Even if you just went and ate some of their food, which has been offered to Krishna, that would give you a spiritual boost. Even if you just started to chant right now, that would help you. And if you just read one book, let's say, Chant and Be Happy, you would start chanting, and then you would want to know more, and you'd want to chant more, and then you'd read this science of self-realization. Because that's one of the biggest illusions that there is that we are the body. We're not this, we're the spiritual soul within the body, within the subtle body, and then this gross body on the outside. Many people will think, no, this is me, look. There's only one life, got to make the most of it, got to try and enjoy all these other things, all these other different directions they're going in. So off they go, get completely lost in the material world. And that's been going on for millions and millions of years. They think they've only had one life, but... and we can see from reading so many truths just from reading, but reading by itself isn't any good, and because you need to develop Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it'll just look like a... well, it might be true and it might not be true, but eventually you'll progress to seeing that of course it is. For example, you might not have any memories of a past life, but in the Veda it says, one of the many things it says is that these nightmares that you have could well be memories of going to hell, which isn't a permanent position, it's not eternal hell. It's a place to purify you and help you. And so you in your subtle body and your subtle mind and intelligence and the soul and all these things that transmigrate, that are spiritual, there are some memories in there, and they can bring out nightmares. People think dreaming is good for them for some reason, but obviously it's not. It's more of a peaceful state of mind to not have any dreams, because you're resting at night. You're supposed to be resting, not thinking so many things. And for me personally, I had these nightmares that it was the same nightmare, and I had it twice, maybe 3 times. It was very similar. And then I read in the Veda about the many different types of hell, and there it was. I could go into more detail about what it was all about, but there was this memory of it there. Also, there was another dream or nightmare about being in the Battle of Gower. Not much heard of, but this is the Gower we're in now. That's Devon over there, but it was a Battle of Gower. And so that could have been from a previous life. When I had the nightmare, I didn't know that there was a Battle of Gower. And I found out a little bit about it. Somebody told me about it. And it was just like the nightmare, a very vicious civil war in the Gower Peninsula, where people were killing each other with farmers' implements and things like that. There's a monument of it. And so we do have these memories. There's also desires. Where did those desires come from? You may have all your life wanted to do something. Well, these desires come with you from previous lives. So if you have desires for more material life, then you go on and on and on and on and on, having more and more material life. And you can't change a thing, you just produce endless media chatter. You can see it now, look, hours and hours and hours of videos on YouTube alone, not to speak of the newspapers that go past way, way back, or the books that have been written to try and change things, and it's not going to work. It hasn't done, and it never will do, and there's a whole load of science to explain why it can't. But first you need to chant Hare Krishna. Or the other bona fide names of God, if you prefer that. So Krishna consciousness brings everybody together. It doesn't divide people, it doesn't say my religion is better than yours. Although we do have better information because it's from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He spoke it, He wrote it. And His philosophy is so perfect it has never been defeated. I think that's all I need to say really, otherwise I'll be making too long a video. I'd like to talk more, so if you can tell me why you don't chant Hare Krishna, maybe we can get you onto the right path, the real deal, the one that you can see for yourself, that you haven't just got a belief and some kind of feeling of that you found something because you've got a belief, and now you're comforted that you found God. Like a placebo effect, you just, it's just another illusion. If you're not chanting the holy names, and you're still eating meat, you better go back and you haven't found even the basics yet, the most important things yet. And let the speaker, oh yeah, I found God after so many years, and no, you haven't. So it's just another belief. We've got a method for knowing here for the whole world, and it's for you, it's for me, it's for Krishna, it's for everybody. Unites everybody. Perfect philosophy. That shows where we're going wrong in this world. It's not difficult to understand. It's really, really easy. To give you an example, the peace formula. It's so straightforward. Everything belongs to Krishna. But people make false claims of proprietorship over Krishna's property. And then they start fighting over it, and then they have wars. When they recognize that everything belongs to Krishna and should be used for Krishna's service, there's no more fighting. What's the need for fighting? They're saying, this is my land, and if you invade, I'm going to defend myself. And they say, well, I'm going to invade because I want more. Just doing my best to try and bring this message to you. I'm not a perfect example, but why shoot the messenger? Why attack the messenger? Change the message. Not what you think of me, or what I am, or what I do, or the message is the same. Ignore what I say, go and see what other people say if you want. Plenty of them on YouTube alone. You'll find devotees near where you live. You probably even got Krishna conscious books in your house on the shelf. Never read them or something. You bought them in the street from the booksellers. And Srila Prabhupada says that they are like bombs waiting to go off. I think what he means is like, once they read these things, they'll just bomb and they, open up their mind to what they're really doing in life. They're on your shelf, Go and pull the pin. I remember times we heard that, somebody saying, oh, it's like the top of my head blowing off. Seeing people like that, you could also be going on about some other kind of consciousness. And trying to sell books and produce an endless media chatter. And has he ever done anything? I don't want to mention his name, but could have been so good. But he wouldn't listen to anything that Krishna had to say. Anyway, there's so many examples that if you really want to change this world, you start chanting Hare Krishna. And so, just tell me why you don't. Think about that. Why you don't? I mean, a good reason. Give me a good reason why you don't. I don't believe there is one. But try anyway. And, I mean, yeah, you can try this chanting anyway. It wouldn't hurt, would it? So again, why not? It isn't going to hurt you. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so many benefits. The time spent chanting Hare Krishna is never taken away from you or lost. Another one. There's just so many. It's the only way you're going to be able to experience real happiness. You think you know what happiness is, but you don't. It's temporary happiness. It comes and goes. It can be for a second even. At New Year, when the New Year's coming in, that second hand goes tick, and everyone goes, forced happiness comes out. They go, hooray! But before they were like, and then tick, hooray! They got to join in with all these false as anything. I mean, the second hand moved. It's a new year, so what? Like, you had millions of them, back and forth to hell, and through all the different species and planets and whatever other material worlds outside of this universe. This is one universe. It's an enclosed system. The other universes are also enclosed systems separate to this one. It's an enclosed, and nobody's getting out of here until they chant Hare Krishna. You might think, oh great, another life after this. Oh, why bother chanting Hare Krishna then? Because in every life there's birth, disease, old age and death. And nobody can argue with that. You see it everywhere. These plant, fish, birds, they've all got birth, disease, old age and death. Do you want to go on like that? But anyway, for now, you want to change the world, right? So, chant Hare Krishna, because you obviously haven't got the abilities to do it. You've been doing it for years and years and years. Just endless media chatter. You're wasting your time. Everything at the end of life, when death comes along, everything is lost. All that you thought you were achieving will be lost. You can't take anything material with you into the next life. As we can see, rich people, they've left all their money in the bank. Even if they did achieve something good over the period of length of time, within time, it'll be all gone. Even the pyramids are crumbling away. They look like they'll be there forever, but they're not. They're already crumbling away, and even the world itself goes through cycles of creation and annihilation. The Earth's surface, that's what we've got left here, these rocks, and it's what's left. It's been destroyed so many times with fire and giant waves. This is a diminishing world, and humans are diminishing as well. Their height and their abilities are diminishing, and you don't want to be reincarnated back into this world. Can you imagine? After 5G, what next? Like 6? They're already talking about 6G. And then, what's it going to be like? I'm not going to find out. I'm not going to. Personally, I'm going to chant Hare Krishna and I'm going to be happy. And I think, tell me why you don't. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.